Just finished up the first day of football camp alongside head coach Tony Annese. Coach, your thoughts from day one, seeing the guys back out here?
A lot of energy, great attitude. What you expect from a championship team, a team that knows what it takes to be successful. So, very excited about it. I felt like it was a really good first day.
At the end of practice, you mentioned some guys that have grown into leadership roles. You singled out Jarvis Wyndham, what he's been able to do in terms of growing through this program, but some other guys that you expect to be good leaders for this team.
Yeah, good question. But with the O-line, it's probably Jarv and Tim and Bob. All three of those guys have played a lot for us, and we're excited that they're back with us. And then, obviously Carson, he's a quiet guy, and Brady, he's a quiet guy. But they're both, obviously got good reputations and have been big, impactful people on our offense. Defensively, there's some really good guys that have played a lot of years. So, Jay Pace's been back there a long time. Alston Ware's been a guy that's played a lot. And then, the D-line, Seal's been around a lot. Dub's been around a lot. Tim Allen and Tyrone Fowler both, were our starting DNs last year in the national championship game, so they're back. So, not a lot of guys on this team really have a lot to say, which is fine. I don't need a bunch of guys just yelling at people, but just having, positive energy is really important. And so that's what I'm hoping for.
Coming off the national championship last year, how important is it early in camp to keep that driven mindset, that hungry mindset?
Well, I think we've got, whether we won a national championship or not, this program's had a hungry mindset, for a long time, In fact, thinking back, I'm like, well, when did it start for a hungry mindset? And it's been a long time, So, whether you go back to, the Vanderlaan and Lampman days where, those guys flipped the program and, we went basically, undefeated and in the regular season and had, 44-game regular season win streak, something crazy like that. I mean, so it's been that way ever since. The standard can't be, did we win a national championship? Oh, yeah, therefore we're hungry, because we're hungry regardless. And that's just the way our culture's been.
Sure, yeah. You just said the standard can't be that. Obviously that's the goal, but what is the standard you're trying to set during just these opening camp weeks?
Yeah, the standard is just to, ultimately be, the best version of you, in really simple terms. Having a standard is one thing, having goals are another, but as far as like their approach, you look too far ahead of something you have to achieve at the end. That's silly. I mean, if you look that far ahead and say this is what we got to achieve, then you're going to trip up somewhere, somehow, some way. And so we're just trying to be the best version of us, try to put things together, not overreact to negative things, because they overreact to negative things out here on a practice field. They will overreact to a loss if we have one, which last year we had one in the first game. So we were 0-1, and maybe a lot of people thought, oh, this team isn't, going to be very good. Probably a lot of people thought that. We didn't think that, and we won 14 straight and won a national championship. So, we want to just keep an even keel, have the right mindset, the right approach, continue to work hard, and take a lot of pride in what we do.
For sure, yeah. And for those veterans who have been back, who know what camp is about and know that standard, what do you think is maybe something that might kind of open a new person's eyes, a transfer or freshman that they weren't expecting?
Yeah, I just think, people come here and they're like, whoa, what a practice that was. It's a whirlwind, right? If you watch a practice from period to period to period to pace to pace to pace, I mean, we're rolling, so many plays in a short period of time. And a lot of people just can't practice at that pace. And so I'm sure they're probably, it's an eye-opening experience. And I think they'll probably because a lot of people don't come out and start practice the way we do, and all of a sudden we're in a period where it's offense versus defense, and we ran 16 plays in about 7 minutes, and people just don't do that on the first practice, but we do, and so they'll learn that the practice structure, the way we practice, I think, is a big force and why we're successful.
For sure, yeah. And just for you personally, been doing this a long time at the highest level, but what's the anticipation like, coming into camp?
Yeah, that's a good question. I sometimes come to work thinking, geez, oh Pete's, I mean, when does this all stop? So getting older, but feeling really fit. And I know this sounds silly, but like I train really hard to be in really good shape as the season starts, just like the guys. So I feel like I'm in good shape. And so being physically in good shape will help my mind, because it is times you're like, oh my gosh, and you start having levels of mental letdowns a little bit, like, oh my gosh, I'm tired, or, boy, I'm sad, or these are hard times, but I feel great, man. I feel like right now, I feel better now than I felt a lot of years with an approach. The hard years were 12 and 13 and 14, and now I'm not saying autopilot, but the guys know what they need to do, and I don't have to be as big of a pain in the butt to them. I just can sit back, and they work so hard. It's just extraordinary, and that's uplifting for me and keeping me young, so I'm having fun.
For sure, yeah. And then last question, week one, obviously you said your only loss last year. Is there a little extra edge and excitement for that game?
No, no extra edge right now. We're just trying to be as good as we can be, and we'll worry about an opponent down the road here. But right now, that thought doesn't even enter our heads, and it never really has. We don't, we always say this: the only team that can beat Ferris State is Ferris State, and so, we beat ourselves on that day. We all know it, and we just got to continue to be at our best. And if we're at our best, we'll be a hard team to beat.